and we continue our World Cup qualifying series with Asian qualifying, where things are somewhat more straightforward. Now, the way it works here, you have two groups of 6. The top 2 in each group automatically go through to the World Cup. The 2 third-place teams would play a playoff, and the winner of that playoff would get into the Interconfederation playoff coming later. That, because of the nature of the schedule and the fact that we have a Winter World Cup and the COVID and all that, that has been changed. We'll get to that in a moment. Let's get to the groups. Group A is pretty straightforward. Iran and South Korea, not surprisingly, have absolutely dominated the rest of that group. Neither have lost a match. Iran, in 8 matches, is their usual miserly self, has conceded a grand total of 2 goals. Same with South Korea. Iran's top on 22 points. South Korea's top on 20 points. They are both qualified, have nothing to worry about.
Premature. Disturbance unnecessary.
So for them, it's just about they can just try stuff out and get things ready, and they don't have anything to worry about. The race there is for third.
You win the bronze, you think, well, at least I got something.
Currently, that is held by the United Arab Emirates, which has qualified for a World Cup before. In fact, they qualified, I think, in 1990 for that World Cup. They have 9 points and a goal difference of 0. Lebanon is next. They have 6 points, a goal difference of -3. Iraq has 5 points, and they have a goal difference of -7. And the goal difference could play key here. There's only 2 matches left, and March 24th, it's pretty much going to be dealt with here and there, and that is Iraq versus the United Arab Emirates. They will play that in Saudi Arabia because Iraq has not been able to host games at home for a long, long time. That's obviously a must-win for the Iraqis. Lebanon have the unenviable task of having to go to Iran and play them. Again, you never know what happens when they're already qualified. If Iraq were to win that game against the UAE, they go and play bottom of the table Syria. That would also be in Dubai, and that's March 29th. So all to play for that third place spot. Although, granted, when we get to Group B and you see who the potential third place teams are there, the third place winner in Group A is going to be a big underdog. But we'll get to that in a moment. Group B, it is quite the race. The top 3 are settled. Saudi Arabia, Japan, Australia are going to be the top 3. Oman, China, and Vietnam are all eliminated. The top 2 will go to the qualification. The other one's going to have to play a playoff and then possibly the Interconfederation playoff. And what a race we have. This would have been even closer, but Australia conceded a late penalty at Oman, and that really put Saudi Arabia and Japan in the box seat. Saudi Arabia with just basically an entire new crop of players for the most part.
Driving crazy through Riyadh.
After qualifying and then performing fairly dismally at the last World Cup in Russia. They have 19 points plus 5 goal difference. They're top. Japan is currently sitting in second with 18 points plus 6. Australia's third, 15 points plus 9. So Australia has to win their final 2 matches. The good news for them, their final 2 matches are against the top 2. So even with their situation sitting 15 points that far back of Saudi Arabia and Japan, they pretty much hold their destiny in their hands. They get Japan March 24th in Sydney at the big stadium, at the former Olympic Stadium. That will be massive. And then they have to go to Saudi Arabia and play the Saudi Arabians March 29th in Jeddah. They win that, they'd be sitting on 21 points. And with their goal difference, they would be in pretty good shape. Japan would have to, if Japan did lose, if Australia gets to 21 points, Japan would have to throttle Vietnam. And they could in Saitama in their last match to go through. Saudi Arabia, they have what you'd consider the plum draw. They're playing China and that will be in the UAE, not in China, because again, COVID and coronavirus issues. So, Saudi Arabia is top and is pretty much in the box seat, because if they win against China, they will clinch a spot for the World Cup, and then that takes the pressure off them for the last game. Maybe that helps Australia, maybe it doesn't. But it would have been even closer if Australia could have held on against Oman on the first day of February. They did not, and so we have quite the race there. Now, why do you not want to be the third place team in that group? Because you end up in the playoff. Now, the third place playoff might not be considered that challenging for Saudi Arabia, Japan, or Australia, considering that their opponent is likely to be the United Arab Emirates, and it could be Lebanon or Iraq. But much like the fact that we have one-game playoffs, and that means anything can happen in a one-game playoff, we have the same thing here. June 7th in Doha. So again, where the other playoffs are, they're going to be playing the week before in Doha, the two third-place teams, and the winner gets into that playoff where it gets a lot tougher, because we're talking about fifth place in South America, which could be any number of teams that could still be in that spot. And again, one game playoffs, absolutely anything can happen. So you want to avoid that lottery, because you just don't know. You just don't know what the heck could happen and what could occur.
Anything is possible when your man smells like Old Spice and not a lady.
So that is Asia. Again, one group is essentially settled. The other group, it could be wild. It really could be wild, especially if we get a crazy result in there. If we get an Australia win over Japan and Sydney, then we're gonna have a potential grandstand finish in that group, and a very exciting end. And I will be looking forward to that. So that is Asia. Congratulations, of course, to Japan, to Iran and South Korea, who've already qualified, dominating that other group. But the rest of it is still up for grabs, and that's why it is as exciting as it is. So that is the Asian qualifying, and we will be back with one more video to talk about South America and what is a race for that last automatic spot and the playoff. And boy, what a race it is. So this is Rodent Sports. Thank you for listening. Comment, like, subscribe, share it around. We really appreciate it if you do. Hope you enjoyed this video. Be back to talk about South America.
That's it. We're done, right?